Hi, and welcome to the Knatters Knits podcast. Today is Saturday, the 7th of October 2017, and this is episode 49. So, first of all, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in. Hi to everybody again who has seen me before, and welcome to those of you who've taken time to check me out for the first time. I hope you're enjoying it. This is a knitting podcast. This episode is a little longer than usual. But you'll see why a little later on, and I think it's worth it, to be honest. So, how are you all? How have you been this week? Or over the last couple of weeks since I last saw you? I hope you've been okay. George, my grandson, as you probably hear me here talking about a lot, is so much better and bouncing along quite nicely. So I've had a good week with him, and today I'm looking out the window again. Sorry. Um, Yesterday, I went to do an interview at a newly opening yarn store called Freehold Yarn Co. And the weather was glorious. Today, not so much. It's what I would call a typical British autumnal day. It's a bit damp, uh, trains going past as usual, a bit overcast. But for me, that's the sort of day I like because it means it's knitting day. Um, so without further ado, let's get on and we'll do some knitting. Right, so what I'm going to do in this episode is I'm going to show you my finished object, because yes, I have a finished object. Then I'll show you my work in progress, one of two that I'm actually working on at the moment. I can't show you the other one because I'm in the middle of a secret test knit, but I will be able to announce exactly what it was later on in November, so I will let you know then. And then I'm going to get into acquisitions, and I apologise in advance for those of you who don't like lots of I got this, I got this, I got this. But of course, since I last saw you, I've been to Yarndale, I've bought yarn, I've also had packages arrive that I ordered a little while ago, but had to come from Canada, so they've had to go through customs and things like that. So the first thing I've got to show you, you'll remember I've been working from this book, The Sock Drawer by Verity Castledine. Um, I've joined a knit along on Ravelry, where it's the Truly Hooked on Socks group. So if you want to go and have a look, you don't have to join the group if you don't want to, if you don't want to join on, but go and have a look. Just Google, just search. Isn't it funny how we've actually started using the word Google instead of search now? Or at least I have. So search on Ravelry for Truly Hooked on Socks and the group will come up. Basically what we're doing is every month we're knitting a new pair of socks. So for me it's quite a discipline because I, as you know, tend to sort of along and whatever. But you've got a month, if you want to be in for prizes anyway, you have to be in the time of the month. So I've got the sock drawer book. We started off last month by doing a pair of socks called Arwen, when I can find them. They're supposed to look like that. Gorgeous socks. Now you notice I said supposed to, and that's because my finished object doesn't quite look like the pictures. These are my socks. I have to say I'm quite pleased that I've seemed to have mastered Kitchener at last, and so the toes are Kitchener at the end. But you'll notice these socks are a little bit shorter. Yeah, yours truly forgot to read the pattern properly. So there should have been socks that go up to here, and the missing bit is from around about here. So this is them. I'm not sure yet if they're going to be a present for somebody who watches the podcast. I'm saying no more. Or whether I'm going to keep them, or whether they're for my daughter for Christmas. So that's the Arwen socks. This month being October, on the first of the month, we started the next pair, which I should have marked in advance. And I warn you, these are bright. This is the pair with that travelling cable. Isn't it lovely? These are called Suvan, and it comes from the Indian word for a braid of beautiful hair. And I'm making them in, what they've done is they've paired up each month with a yarn dyer, an indie yarn dyer, and a pattern. So this month I'm using this. Let's bring it back, back. Maybe that sort of colour, but as you can tell, it really blows it out as it gets close. But as you can see, it's quite variegated. There's all sorts of different shades of red in there. I haven't got very far. That's it so far. Just the cuff. And I'm just about to start. In fact, I have just started the first row where you put the travelling cable in. So that's that one. It's been kept, and all my projects for this knit along are being kept in my Mrs. Brown's bag. I love this bag, I really do. Again, colours not... I give up. So that's my knitting for this week that I can show you. So I'm going to very quickly move on to acquisitions, because I'm aware of the fact that I'm going to insert some video later on that actually there's a lot more. There's a lot more, and it's not just me talking. So Yarndale, as you know, I went to Yarndale and I bought a few things. Because I've been really interested in the Selbu Mittens Club, I have been looking at what I call more rustic yarns, things that aren't quite so soft and oh my god sort of feeling to them. The first one I've come across is this one, which is Blacker Yarns Classic British Wool in DK. So green, again the colour's not right on screen. No, nowhere near. I don't know if I put it next to another green, will that do the trick? No, it's more of an olivey green. The colour name is forest green actually. It's woolen spun, so it should be more bouncy, and it is. Apologies. The next one I've bought, I'm obviously about the green at the moment, is Peer Gynt. Sandness yarn, or Sandness yarn. And this is the colour 8543. Now this I got from, I think they're called SDK in Chester. But as you will see, coming up in my review of the yarn store that I went to visit yesterday, I have found a new source of yarns that I'll be able to use. I'm not going to tell you any more just yet. You have to wait a little bit later to see that. I'm definitely about the greens, because another one I've acquired, and I can't remember how at the moment, but I think I bought this at Yarndale as well, is this one, which is an olive green, so the colours are definitely blown out today. And this is by tallyarns.co.uk. It's their Trinity Twist, which is a BFL nylon mix, and there's a bit of silk in there as well. 70-20, 10 for the nylon. And it's called Seaweed, and it's definitely an olive green. It's not this horrible washed out colour that it seems on there. It is a really beautiful, beautiful green. And another one, I just thought, you know, I want to try and support small indie dyers. So this is this one. Now this is not coming up true to colour in any way, shape or form. This is Welsh wool. Also says on it Cambrian Fach, which I believe is Welsh White Mountain. And it's from a company called Wriggle Fingers, with a very controversial snapline there, Better Living Through Dying. We're not going to get into that one. But they're www.wrigglefingers.etsy.com. This is really, really soft. And I don't know why I've always had this impression that yarns that are from Wales are more rugged like this, when in fact this one, as you can see, is much smoother, softer, loftier, but it also has a little bit more of a halo. So it's going to be interesting to knit with those. I have one more yarn that I have bought recently, and I think this one again may have been from SDK, but I'm not sure. This is Danish. It's a deeper red than that. It's a bit more accurate. And this is Shetland Zooled, 100% Shetland Zooled, 100 grams is 450 metres, so there's a really good meterage on this one. BC yarn. And again, it's quite a crunchy sort of yarn, so I'm going to have to get on with my colour work, aren't I? Once I've finished a few things that I've got promised that to people. Okay, the next thing I want to show you isn't yarn, but it's something that I bought because I've been watching the Espace Tricot podcast run by the two lovely ladies who own Espace Tricot in Canada. One of the things I found particularly difficult, especially when I was knitting these socks, is following a pattern. Mainly because I don't follow very well on an iPad, which is where I keep a lot of my PDFs. And when I've been doing the socks out of this book, I found it extremely difficult to follow a pattern because all the words are written in a block like this. So what I've bought, because I was watching the Espace Tricot podcast, they were talking again, and they have talked about it in the past, was what they call their pattern holder. And it's this. It's enormous. It's bigger than A4 size. I would say it's an A3 size. And as you can tell, I'm not very good at getting the placement with the camera very well. And this is metal. Very durable. A little bit sharp on the edges, so you have to be careful. And these are magnetic strips. It's got a little ledge on it, which you can just about see there. And it's made by Loran. Fantastic for putting your pattern on. And not only have you got the, excuse me, one strip. Oh dear. But there are all sorts of different size strips. So you can place your pattern, you can block off just the section you're working on so you don't get distracted. Like that. Which for me is fantastic and has helped an enormous amount. The only difficulty I have is in things like the book. The pages are too thick once I just put the whole book on the thing to actually for the magnets to work. But there is this very helpful strip here, which I don't know if you can see very well. Oh yes, there you can now. Where you can put things like bulldog clips to hold things in place. So this is going to get so much use. Yes, okay, I ended up paying import charges, but I've not seen anything like it in the UK. So if there's anybody out there who thinks, oh, I need to manufacture something, what is the next thing for knitters? I think this is it. We could really do with something like this in the UK because, to be honest, paying a lot of money for import charges and postage, I think I must have spent the best part of £20 or £30 just on import charges and postage. We need one in the UK. Okay, quick sip of tea. And of course, it's my sheepy mug. My apologies. My allergies kicking in again. Now, I want to show you this next. You may remember I've talked about joining in things like Fibre Share, which is a program where you, through Instagram, how can I explain it? Sign up to share and send a parcel of goodness, yarny obviously usually, but with other things in it as well, like a little care package to somebody else. And this box was the box that arrived for me just over a week ago. And inside are all these things. Oops. Chucking yarn into my... Now, it came also with a lovely little card. Dear Natalie, I hope you'll enjoy all this yarny goodness. Happy knitting, love, Sophie. Well, Sophie is my yarn share partner for this year. She was the one who sent the yarn to me. I sent mine to somebody else, and so on and so on and so on. Now, there was more in here, but there was chocolate. So you don't expect me to have left that there, do you? No. It was very nice of Sophie. Thank you very much. There were some fantastic little minis by a company called Fig Tree Yarns. And now, I've not heard of Fig Tree Yarns before, but they come from the Channel Islands, which is just at the bottom of the UK. So Guernsey, Jersey, and these are from Jersey. Inspirational exclusive yarns from artisan producers, natural fibres, handcrafted and hand dyed. And she does knitting groups and gatherings as well, and that's her card. Isn't that gorgeous? So there are 3, 4, 5, 6 little mini skeins here, and they are, that's the colourway denim, but they're all different as well. So this one's merino cashmere nylon, and that's anzula.com. This one is lipstick, again by Anzula, and that's merino cashmere nylon. Sorry, holding those up wrong. This one is from Shiitake. No, it's sorry, it's from Vera, and its colourway is Shiitake, and that's more of a brown than you're seeing on the screen. This one is colourway, the yarn's called Cloud. The rose is the colourway MCN as well. That is gorgeous. I don't know how well you can see that. Oh yes. Then Milk Protein and Superwash Merino. And that's coming out blue, but it's not. It's much more of a turquoise, almost a green. Silken in the colourway Rust. That's Superwash Merino and Silk. And finally, in this 6 mini skein collection, Cricket in the colourway Madam, MCN again. And that's not doing it justice because it's much more red than that. So that's that one. Then I've got some Millimere from Sweden, and that's all merino. And again, you can't see the colours. Oh, that's not bad actually. There. Plus a pink. Oh. And the next group she sent me are Baby Alpaca by King Cole. A couple of different colours there. Very muted, soft colours. And there's a little bit of green there as well that she sent me, because she knows that I want to get into colour work a lot more. There is this that I'm really looking forward to opening and getting going. And this is a Sirdar colour wheel. There's a free scarf pattern inside. Well, it won't be a scarf. I know that for sure now. It's wool, acrylic, 80% acrylic, 20% wool. Made for Sirdar. Isn't that gorgeous? Lovely different colours in that one. There's a ruler. And on the back, it's a bookmark for Knit for Peace. There's some lovely luxury soap made in Portugal, Freesia and Pear. Now, I'm just going to show you the box. The contents aren't there anymore, but some stitch markers. Addie loves stitch markers. I do like Addie products. A lovely lavender bag. And that is French. And then there's also a kit. Love your yarn kit. So there's some. I don't know about abroad, but here in the UK we get these sorts of things on the front of our yarn magazines on a regular basis. They are to entice us to buy the magazines in the first place, and a lot of people do like them. These are quite good because, well, if you want to do colour work, there's, small. Let's open it up and I'll show you. Let's see what I mean. You get in the kit lots of different colours. So all the colours of the yarn that you need, they're usually, more often than not wool. They are acrylic. However, there is enough there to knit at least one of the projects on the front. And if you have the magazine as well, and she has sent to me the pattern to do this. So I'm sure George would love a little reindeer or a little, excuse me, Father Christmas. If anybody wants any of these, not this one because obviously this is one that's been sent to me, but if anybody is interested in having any of these packs, I have at least one crate full of these with the patterns, and I'm quite happy to send them to you. So I will open up a thread on the Ravelry group, and that's the Knatters Knits Ravelry group, and I will, if you want some, just let me know, and then go over and send me a private message and send me your address, and I'll put one in the post to you. Okay. It is on a first come first serve basis because obviously I may not have enough for all the people that are watching. Now that would be nice. Then I get rid of them all. Now don't get me wrong, it's not that I don't like them. I'm just not a great big squishy, stuffy sort of person who likes to make those sorts of things. So that's all the things that I've been doing that I wanted to show you. But the main reason that I've done this podcast this week is to show you a little insight into the new shop in Lancaster, and that's Lancaster, UK. It's in the north of England, and the lady Amy who runs the new business. So I'm going to leave you now to her. I hope you have a fantastic week. Do please go if you can, if you're in the UK and you can go and see her shop, do. Because I was absolutely tickled and delighted by the space. It's beautiful, it's light, it's airy, and she's going to be doing workshops, and there's going to be a knit night on a Thursday, and oh, there's so much to tell you. I'm going to leave it to the interview that I'm going to do with Amy now. So I hope you have a great week, and I shall be back really soon. Thanks ever so much for taking the time to watch me, and please do subscribe down below, or leave me a comment. I love to see comments from you, and although I don't necessarily always get to do it straight away, I do appreciate and I do read everything. So thanks ever so much again. Take care now. Bye bye. Hi, and here I am in Lancaster. I'm at Freehold Yarn Co, and this is upstairs. We've come up here because it's nice and light and bright, and I'm really excited because we're actually going to eventually get to have workshops and things up here. As you've probably gathered, I'm already bought into this place and I haven't even shopped here yet. But I'll show you downstairs a little later. I'd like to introduce you to Amy. Hello. Amy is the, what would you say, proprietress, owner?
Yes. I try to sound as posh as possible. When you can make your own title, you might as well. We'll just go with owner.
Owner of the shop. It's opening a week on Saturday. That's the 14th of October at 10 o'clock in the morning. So guess where I'm going to be on the 14th of October? Yeah, I'll be here. So excited, can you tell? Sorry. I get really, really giddy when I get the idea of more yarn near me. Yes, I think that might have a problem. Okay, so it's called Freehold Yarn Company. Why, Amy?
Well, in Lancaster, those who aren't from Lancaster, there's a big hill, and at the top of the hill, I live up there, and the little funny square is called Freehold. And it's back from Victorian times, and it has sort of a long tradition It's full of artists and academics, so I thought it was fitting.
That's really quite apt. And for those of you who think, what's she talking about, what hill? I'm going to drive up there later and film a little bit so you can actually look from vaguely where Freehold is back towards the shop and you can see what Amy's talking about.
Has an amazing view of Lancaster and the bay.
It's phenomenal, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's why I've got to go up there and film, because it's just...
Just don't walk up there.
No, I've got to drive. This old lady cannot get up those hills, not anymore. Okay, so why a yarn shop? Tell me a little bit more about your yarn journey. What brought you to this point?
So what happened, to make a very long story short, I was living in Australia and I met a man who we eventually decided to live here, and part of it was that I could sort of find a new career or find something new to do. At the time in Australia I was working as a nurse, and then of course if you have to uproot all of that, you need to be doing something in a few. So then we came to Lancaster and I was knitting away, and I started to think perhaps this could be my new thing. And I wanted a shop that was very modern and that kind of felt like an art community rather than just simply a yarn store, which is why we've led to this space which has the workshops.
It's an amazing space. We're sat in a room which you can overlook down to the shop, and you can also look up and there's beams. For those of you who don't live in the UK, we have beams, good old-fashioned beams. So that's really, really exciting. I didn't realise you were a nurse as well.
Yes.
I'm a nurse too, so that's even more we've got in common.
I'm a registered nurse in Australia, and that's quite a good one, I would like to think. And leaving that behind, coming here, and I have a young child, so when I wanted maternity leave to end, I wanted to find something new.
Brilliant. Okay, so that's about, I suppose, why the shop really.
Yeah.
What sort of yarn is your favourite then? What sort of things have you worked with that you like?
So I really like spending as much as possible, because I think the true investment with knitting is your time. When you're spending 60 hours on a sweater, and you think about if that's minimum wage, like £10, that's quite a lot. So spending as much as you can on the yarn compared to the time spent is nearly nothing. So I quite like luxury yarns with lots of wools and lots of soft things.
I know the feeling. I disappointed my husband greatly because I was knitting him a jumper in acrylic. And I looked at it and said, I love you, love, but I don't love you enough to spend my time doing this. And I threw it out. I can't do it. You've got to spend, if I'm going to spend that amount of time, I want to spend it using something that makes me happy.
Yeah,
so
and I also think, ethically speaking, when you buy cotton, for example, that is extremely, extremely cheap, I just don't think it can be made without slavery involved somewhere. So if we've tried to stick with brands where we know where they come from, where they're sourcing their wool or their cotton, where it's made, and sort of the ethics and animal husbandry behind all of that.
Brilliant. Okay, so what sort of things do you like to knit? Is this
Sweaters.
jumper sweater?
Yes.
The sort of typical Amy type thing?
Yeah. Sweaters. I basically always knit sweaters. I love them. I think they're amazing. Whenever people think they can't knit a sweater, I'm like, please let me teach you, because I just think they're wonderful. And the reason why I got into knitting is because I do like making garments. I like to sew my own dress, and I'm really into fashion. And so then being able to knit a custom sweater or cardigan plays into being able to make my own clothes and make things that I really like.
It always surprises me that people from Australia like to knit, because I know, yes, Australia's got thousands and millions of merino sheep,
Yes.
but it's hot over there a lot of the time.
Well, I didn't knit in Australia.
Ah, right.
Because I did find it made my hands feel sweaty, and it wasn't very pleasant. Though my mum's in Australia and she knits. And I guess that kind of depends where you are. You can be in Tasmania, which is quite cold and like British weather, or you can be in Central Australia where you would never wear wool at all because it's too hot.
Yeah, I've got family in the south of Australia, sort of Adelaide, Whyalla sort of area, and they always moan about how Tasmania is just like Britain, so they don't understand why anybody would ever want to live in Tasmania, so I understand that one very well. Okay, so did you design the jumper yourself, or have you used a pattern?
No, this is one of my designs. I quite like designing sweaters, and this one's being test knitted at the moment, and it should be hopefully ready for the opening of the store, if not soon afterwards. And it comes, I try to get a very wide range of clothes, of sizes, sorry. So I'm plus size, I'm an 18 and it fits quite fine, whereas it also, I'm wearing about the dead middle size, so it goes much bigger and also much smaller.
So that's good news for most of my viewers, I suppose, because I get the feeling that you're probably Amy's size or my size, round about that. If you're a lot smaller, then I apologise. But a lot of you tell me that you are sort of that sort of size.
It also goes very slim.
Yeah. So female size is what I would call it.
Yes. Yeah. And then I also have like I do some children's ones, and I've got one here that I probably
most pleased to see. This is good, isn't it?
So this is like a little vest for children.
That's good. Sorry, can't resist squidging. Have you written a pattern for this?
Yes, I've got this one, and I've also got the same sheet that runs along the yoke, and that runs I think up to about 10 years old from babies.
And can viewers of the podcast actually get hold of that?
Yes, it's on Ravelry.
It's on Ravelry.
And you can also get it through the website, through my website.
Right, so who are you on Ravelry then, so they know who to
also,
look for?
Everything online I'm under Freehold Yarn Co.
Freehold Yarn Co. Go and have a look at her patterns. I know I'm going to be buying at least the one for, you can guess who I'm going to knit it for, it's for George. Yeah, so I love the sheep. I love it. I love it.
And that's actually knitted in Shetland, the heritage. It's a light fingering, and then I double it to make it DK.
Right.
So you're getting a beautiful soft Shetland yarn with natural colours, but it's been made a bit sturdier and a bit quicker by doubling it.
It's a good tip there, isn't it? Much better for doing things a lot more quickly. I'm all for saving time, so that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so apart from obviously your own designs, have you got a favourite designer that you like?
When it comes to designs for men, I really like Brooklyn Tweed. I think they're very modern and just really beautiful patterns for men especially. And when it comes to women, mostly I end up making my own garment for myself because I have an unusual body shape and quite busty and slim waist. But if it comes to other designs, I really like Kate Davies.
Yeah.
I like her cable owls and I like her flare owl. I'm a big fan of colour work, so I quite like Kate Davies.
Yeah, I mean, viewers of the podcast know that I've just started getting into doing colour work myself. And I've been cruising a lot of Norwegian because I've signed up for the Selby Knitting Club, done by another podcaster called Scale Deer. So I'm just beginning to explore some sort of more rustic yarns, as they call them.
Yeah.
So
I
will you
call
be
them
stocking that?
farmers' yarns.
Will you be stocking that?
We've got Loppy, which of course is like the king or queen of rustic yarns, I think. So we've got Let Loppy, and then we've also got New Lanark Mills. It's not really, I wouldn't say a rustic, but it kind of falls in between. Some of the tweedy ones are quite rustic.
I've got some New Lanark that I'm actually got a very unfinished object that's been sitting for a while that needs to be finished. In fact, it might get frogged and restarted.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what you mean. It's traditional, what I would call a traditional yarn. It's not one of these modern ones.
Yeah.
So I recognise this pattern, I think.
Yes, this is a Brooklyn Tweed pattern, and it's done in the Loppy for a man who would be, let's see, quite slim and tall, my husband.
Oh, that's nice. I like that one.
So it's really beautiful.
Now you're seeing it, and it looks blue on the screen, but actually to me, here it looks blacks and browns and neutrals.
It's a very dark blue.
Very dark blue. So it's not as light as that, but it's not as dark as my black. So it's in between the two, really.
But I think it's quite beautiful. Especially very good for the north because of the water resistance with the Loppy.
Yeah. And it's
very
got
warm.
a halo as well, which I really, really like. That to me says this isn't artificial, this is real.
Yeah. Oh, it's also very easy to knit colour work with a Loppy.
Yeah.
And
just don't tell your husband that there's been a strange woman fondling you jump.
Then of course the floats are very beautiful with it.
Oh wow.
It's very
now isn't that neat? Not like my floats, are they?
So what I do is when I blop it, once it's done I turn it inside out and then I spray it with water and then I use my hand to smooth out those floats. You really want to kind of like work them very smooth and they almost start to felt. You can see they're quite stuck together. So you've started to felt the inside.
Yeah.
That keeps them really smooth. And
also, there's no fingers getting caught in them as you put your jumper on.
And you can see I don't often lock my floats, so there's very long floats here.
But they're not catchy.
But they're not catchy.
Because they're
Yeah.
Good tip for you there, isn't it?
It makes the lobby a bit less scratchy around the neck as well.
Yeah.
Because you're laying down those long fibres.
I suppose if you were really quite a sensitive skin, you could put a t-shirt underneath, couldn't you?
Yeah.
And being in the north of England, and I know I've got quite a few watchers in Canada and USA, they'll be wearing layers anyway when it comes to winter, so it makes sense, doesn't it?
I also actually, in coincidence, I've also got a new lilac one here, which is just a
I think I've gone to heaven.
vest.
Oh.
So this is really quite simple. It's a broken seed stitch texture at the top and then just down to stockinette at the bottom. And I think that it plays well with this black and white tweed.
Yeah. I love it. Because it's not the sort of thing you're going to see in the high street. It's not the sort of thing, but it is modern looking. It's not of what I call frumpy 1950s, my gran would have dressed me in type jumps. All of your designs look very modern, very fresh.
I'm so glad you said that because I really want to go for the modern aesthetic.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that that's true.
Yeah, well, she didn't prompt me to say that before.
No, I really didn't.
Oh, right. So, you've told me that you like to knit mainly jumpers.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else that you really love to knit? If you were to spoil yourself, indulge yourself, maybe desert island knitting, what would you take and what would you do?
Sweaters.
There's no getting away from it, is it? She's a sweater girl.
I would take a fingering weight.
Mm-hmm.
That's my preference. Because I think you can get lots of detail, lots of fine work with your colour work and lots of fine textures. So I would take a fingering weight. Plus I'm on a desert island, I've got lots of time. And I would perhaps knit a Shetland Island hat. The square styles with the beautiful garter stitched square in the middle and the lace work around the outside. I think they're very beautiful. And I like to wear them in an unusual way, so I fold them into a triangle, which is normal. And then if you have a coat that crosses over, you can tuck one side in there and the other side in. So then you get this lovely asymmetric kind of style. And it's very clean and looks quite modern. So I do like it.
I apologise to those of you who are saying, well, there's a lot of noise going on. As I said before, the shop doesn't open until next week. The front door's open, they've got painting going on, there's a couple of gentlemen who are doing something dodgy with the drains outside, and they've finished apparently. Thanks, guys. Right. Okay, so let's think about the shop then. We're going to have a guided tour in a little while. I'm going to go around with my handheld camera because I'm going to break my neck on my lead if I try and take the laptop.
Yes.
And we've already mentioned that this is a space upstairs that is going to have workshops, but what else have you got planned for upstairs?
So what we're going to have is we'll have a big table up here that will be set up almost all the time. So during the week or most Saturdays, if you're coming on a Saturday, either email me or just double check that there's not a workshop on that's all day. But most workshops will be scheduled in the afternoon. So you'll be able to come in, you'll be able to knit up here, or any handcraft is welcome, embroidery, hand stitching, anything. We'll have tea, coffee, throw in 50p or something into the little bucket, make yourself something, sit down. And as well, we're going to have an artist in residence program, which will be more than just knitting. So if anybody wants to get in touch, please do. You'll be able to, for the length of time, however long you want, a month or so, come into the shop, work up here. It's quite a nice space. You will then be able to display your work on this massive big wall I have in whichever manner you like. It's to inspire. And then people can come in, they can talk to you, they can see how you're working, see the stories behind your work, and then of course purchase your work. So that's what we'll be doing. Our first one will be Jill Wignall, who does embroidery, and once she's answered the interview questions, I'll be making an announcement about that soon.
Really exciting, isn't it?
Then also with our artist in residence program, depending on what they do, they will perhaps come in for a month and then during that time also be offering workshops in their style. But then again, it sort of depends on who's in and what's happening.
So it sounds to me as if there's going to be an awful lot going on in here, and if you don't get in, you're going to miss out. Right. Is there anything else that you want to tell us about the shop? or your web address, anything like that, so that people can get in touch with you?
First of all, Thursday evenings at the moment we're going to have the knit evening. That will be always set up, and you can come in anywhere, well really at any time as well, but from 5 till 9:30. There's parking quite close that you can park in, or we're very sure walk on the train. So that will be our knit evening. Bring some food, bring some wine, whichever.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, come up and get some crafting done. I call it knit evening, but anyone's welcome with a handcraft. And also you can find us online, Facebook, Freehold Yarn Co, Ravelry, Instagram, and our website, which is freeholdyarnco.com.
Right, and she does have an online shop as well, so if you're in the States or USA or in mainland Europe, you can still buy from this store, okay?
Yes.
Very modern, she can cope with anything. I've already gathered that one.
Just email me.
Just email her and she will sort you out. And if she can't, she's got contacts. She definitely has contacts, so you're not going to be short of of getting anything at all. Right, well,
shall I give you the tour then?
Right, I shall stop the camera here and I'm going to go around with my little handheld camera and I'll attach that to the end. See you later. Okay, so we're upstairs now and we're going to head down the stairs from the workshop area into the main shop. I apologise for the wobbly camera because me and stairs do not get on. Being an old lady, the knees are shot. You won't be able to see them very well, but there are beautiful designs. I might try and take a picture of them from outside afterwards. Actually on the windows. You can just about see the jumper there. Right, so Amy's going to show us around. I'm sorry, I never even asked the gentleman painting the door if it was all right if we did filming first.
This handsome painter is Derek, who does an excellent job.
Hi Derek. We're just going to put this onto a YouTube podcast. Okay, so what have we got, Amy?
So the general layout is it starts from chunky and it goes down to fingering and then light fingering back up to worsted. So it sort of makes sense that if you start in the middle, you're at your lightest, and at the edges are the heavier weights. We have Mrs. Moon here, which isn't on the website yet. In fact, nobody knows that I'm stocking it yet. So there we are. That will be hopefully photographed soon. We've got the Fideco Cumbria, which is a lovely merino Martian blend with a little bit of mohair. This is what I'm wearing now. This is the worsted weight, but I've got the fingering on. We have John Arbon Textiles, Knit by Numbers, which is a merino DK. They're made in a beautiful old heritage mill, which is why if you have a close look at some of these colours, they're very, like, you can see little colour discrepancies. They're really quite beautiful.
Real sort of heathering almost, isn't it?
Yeah, without being a tweed. Moving on to Bar MU, which I'm sure everybody knows. We've got the Dovestone DK and the Titus. Unfortunately, they've been a bit too popular, so we've got some more colours coming in November. Again, we've got Cumbria in the fingering weight.
And for those of you who've watched the Celtic podcast, she's been using Cumbrian and thinks the world of it, so it's definitely one to be buying from Amy.
I've actually made 2 sweaters in it because I just love it.
And I love Titus as well, it's really gorgeous,
yeah,
isn't it?
very beautiful.
You'll see why it's so popular. Yeah. I love the colours.
Up here is the John Arbon Exmoor sock, which has a little bit of nylon in it. It's very strong and lovely colours. It comes up as just light fingering. Again, Fibeco. This is a bamboo blend, which makes it quite economically priced actually, and very, very beautiful. There's subtle variegations that you can see here. And now we've got the Organic Shetland by Garthenor. We've only just got this in stock. It's also not on the website yet. It's a 4-ply, but it probably comes up a fraction heavier.
So if it's not on the website yet, they can email you.
Yes, it should be up this weekend though.
Brilliant.
This is where our Jameson and Smith will go. We've got lots of empty boxes because I've still got to bring the stock down. We've got more coming. We must have about 30 colours that we'll be bringing in.
A squidge. So that's Jameson and Smith, Shetland Heritage.
These are undyed colours as well, they're very nice.
Natural. If you're into the natural, especially for doing colour work, they all work beautifully.
So then we've got the Onion Knit, which is actually a Danish brand.
I was going to say, I've never heard of onion before, other than the food.
Yeah, so no one else in the UK stocks them yet.
Ooh.
Although soon, perhaps, they'll be onto a secret. This is a nettle and wool. If you feel it, it's very soft. The nettle adds strength,
isn't it?
but still remains a natural fibre rather than the acrylic.
Yeah, I've been spinning with some nettle recently,
Mm-hmm.
so that's nice to know I can get that.
We have
sheepy mug.
Yeah, the sheepy mugs, these are by Toft. So we've got their crochet kits. There's all these ones at the top.
All these gorgeous little creatures just waiting for homes.
So they come in a kit where you get everything, your wool, your pattern and your hook. And they're quite easy to do. Next we have the new Lanark. We've got the tweedies, mostly the tweed ones, and then the solid red.
Oh, you can see the tweeds there, can't you? Takes the camera a minute or two just to adjust, just to see the tweeds, but...
And then,
Let Lopi.
yeah.
Oh, sorry, I shouldn't get so excited about seeing Let Lopi, should I? Because this is the first time I've ever seen it in the flesh. Oh, sorry.
We've also got some of the unspun as well down here. Not a lot, but you can request more and I can order some in. It comes in these plates and you just pull a knit. You can use it single. It's quite strong given that it's not spun at all, or you can double it, triple it, whatever you prefer. And then last but not least, we've got the Onion Organic Cotton. And have a squeeze, it's the best cotton I've ever felt.
I wouldn't have said that was cotton at all.
Yeah, it's so soft and has a nice handle, whereas most cottons I find to be quite dense and difficult to knit. This one's very smooth, very squishy.
And for those of you who are into the pink, there's pink.
Yeah, they have very modern colours compared to the normal, you know, pastel blue, pastel pink, pastel yellow.
Wow. All the yarny goodness.
We also will have wool tops. I've got some here that I've plaited and made a great mess. This is a Jacob mix. So they'll be available in 100-gram braids. We've got a whole bag more, which I'm yet to do.
Oh wow. And you've got a really nice selection. I'll just go a bit closer.
Yeah, of course.
Of notions as well. So we've got needles, conventional, standard ones, crochet hooks. My favourite at the moment are little tiny little sock needles.
Oh, they're excellent, aren't they?
I love them. I'm absolutely...
Super secret. I don't actually like knitting socks, which is, you know, quite controversial. But when I do, I knit them on these little needles.
So we'll just stitch markers. Oh, I like that knitting accessory set. I've not seen that in the flesh before either.
These little scissors are quite possibly the nicest scissors I've ever seen. They're handmade in Britain, one of the last remaining companies that do. They're quite expensive compared to if you buy some, you know, typical scissors. But they have a full warranty. They'll either replace or repair them for a lifetime.
Wow.
So they're worth it.
That's pretty impressive, isn't it?
Very sharp, very sturdy. Because I'm sure everyone's been driven nuts by those tiny scissors that,
the ones that are no good and don't last very long at all.
Yes.
So let's just see if we can catch the... Can you see the window? There's the dove. And the socks on the washing line. Of course, it would have to be a jumper in the middle, wouldn't it, for Amy's shop? And then on this window... So tell me again who's done all your artwork for you?
Her name is Jill Wignall. She's a very good friend of mine. She has an amazing Instagram if you want to have a look.
She does.
She does beautiful drawings and also embroidery. She'll be holding our first workshop We've not announced it yet, but she will be doing a workshop on, have you seen those modern garments where you knit the embroidery, you embroider on knit around the neck? So you'll be able to come along and she will have samples, so you'll be able to practice your embroidery on wool and then bring your garment along and she'll show you